I feel welcome, my good students. Today again, just want us to move on with the series of using assumed mean in grouped data. But again, I just want us to see how to scale that particular given data into smaller number, which are easily workable so that we can avoid some common mistake. Remember, the smaller the number, there's a possibility of avoiding those errors that usually come up with those larger numbers. So the question therefore goes that the masses, that is, the masses to the nearest grams of 100x were recorded as follows. The table is also provided there. Now, if you look at the table, masses are given in classes, and then frequency of respective classes is also given. Now, from there, the question goes that you are required to find the mean mass. The requirement here is find the mean mass. Now, first of all, what you are going to do, we are going to, first of all, tabulate the table. And that table that you're going to tabulate is provided alongside. You can see that the first column, we are going to have classes. The second one, you're going to have the midpoint, which you're going to label it as X. And then the other one, you're going to introduce our assumed mean here. Remember, for this case, you're going to take the midpoint X minus the assumed mean and then divided by a constant C. This constant C, we are going to take it as the class interval. That is the class interval. For example, the lower limit here is 99.5 and the upper limit here is 103.5. So to get the class interval, we'll take the upper limit minus the lower limit, and therefore we are going to have 103.5 minus 99.5, which we get 4. Therefore, our constant C that you're going to divide with here is going to be 4. So here, therefore, we are going to have T equals to X, the midpoint, minus the assumed mean, which is 109.5. Yesterday, I said that this one, you can find it by looking at the value of X that is nearly at the center of the data. The value of X that is nearly at the center of that particular data, that is going to be our assumed mean. For this case, I'm using 109, but also if you use 113.5, still the same procedure can be followed. So we are going to have X minus 109.5 over 4, where 4 is the class interval. Are we together? Then I remember I gave you how to find the X, that is the midpoint. You only take the lower boundary plus the upper boundary, then you divide by 2. So 100 plus 103 over 2 is 101.5. 104 plus 107 divided by 2 is 105.5. 108 plus 111 by 2 is 109.5. Then 112 plus 113 divided by 2 is 113.5. Then 116 plus 119 divided by 2 is 117.5. Lastly, 120 plus 123 divided by 2, we are getting at 121.5. Now, realize that these are just the average values of the lower and upper boundaries of respective classes. Now, once we have gotten these midpoints, then we proceed on to find the values of T. And remember, T is X minus assumed mean divided by the class interval. I've already explained how to get this 109.5 and how to get this 4. So here we are going now to take X, which is 101.5 minus 109.5, which we are getting negative 8 divided by 4. We get negative 2. 105.5 minus 109.5, we are getting at negative 4 divided by 4, we are getting a negative 1. Then 109.5 minus 109.5, we are getting 0, and 0 divided by 4 still remains 0. 113.5 minus 109.5, we are getting 4 divided by 4, that comes to 1. Then 117.5 minus 109.5, we are getting 8. 8 divided by 4, we are getting 2. Then lastly, 121.5 minus 109.5, we are getting 12, and 12 divided by 4, we are getting 3. Now, once you have filled that column T, then you are going to transfer the values of frequency from this table. Remember, the first frequency is 1, then 15, then 42, 32, 8, and 3. So these numbers, we are transferring them here in this column. So we are going to have 1, 15, 42, 31, 8, and 3. Once you have them, then you are going to sum them downwards, and the summation of f is going to be 100. So if you add this frequency like 1 plus 15 plus 42 plus 31 plus 8 plus 3, you're getting it to be a total of 100. So the summation of f is 100. Once you have this column, then you go to the column of ft. Now this ft, we are taking f multiplied by t. For example, here we'll be having 1 times negative 2, which you have negative 2 here. Then 15 times negative 1, which is negative 15. Then 42 multiplied by 0, we are getting 0. Then 31 multiplied by 1, we are getting 31. Then 8 multiplied by 2, we are getting 16. Then lastly, 3 times 3, we are getting 9. Once we fill this column, then you sum them up. Now, the first one you are going to sum like this. That is going to be negative 2 plus negative 15 plus 0 plus 31 plus 16 plus 9. And by so doing, you are getting the summation of ft being 39. So this is how we formulate the table. Once we have completed the formulation of the table, then we can now proceed on to the formula and calculation of that means. So what you're going to do here, we are going to apply our now formula here, and this is how we are going to do it. Now recall that the mean of any given data, especially when you introduce the assumed mean, that mean x bar is given by assumed mean plus c, that constant that we divided with. Remember, here we divided with that constant as c, so here we are going to multiply with it right together. So it will be a plus c into bracket the summation of ft over the summation of f. Then we are going to substitute in the values, like we are going to put here 109 to a, then the summation of ft here, then the summation of f here. Then we're also going to substitute this 4 at this c. Now by substituting, then we are getting that a, which is the assumed mean, is 109.5, and then we are getting plus 4c. Remember, c, we said that is the class interval, which is 4. Then summation of ft is 39. Summation of f from the table is 100. Now the next step will be, we will try to simplify now this expression by dividing here. Now by so doing, we are seeing now this coming to that 39 over 100 is coming to 0.39. Then we can drop this 4 here and 109.5 here. So once we are done with this, then we are going to work out. Working out here means we are going to multiply 4 by 0.39, and that one is going to give us 1.56. So from up here, working out this one, we get this one is 109.5. Then we'll multiply 4 times 0.39, and by multiplying this one, we are getting this one reducing to 1.56. Then the next step that we'll do is now summing up. We are going to sum up this one, 109.5 plus 1.56. And by summing up, then we are ending up with 109.5 plus 1.56. That's 111.06 grams. Now, this one that results here become now our calculated mean. So from there, I believe that you have seen the procedure that we follow until coming up with that particular value of the mean. Now, in the subsequent lesson, I'm going to provide more classes on median, how to calculate median of this grouped data. Then I'm also going to look at mode and also provide more lesson on quartiles, deciles, and also percentiles later on. So for you to be able to follow me for this more interesting lesson, please subscribe for more educative videos and lessons. I believe that this particular demonstration and example has enabled you to understand how to scale that particular data, especially using assumed mean and also the class interval, to see how we can use smaller numbers which are easy to work with as opposed to larger numbers. Follow me for more videos of such caliber. Thank you, and I appreciate for your great time. My